I get visuals. I'm a visual thinker, and I saw hands joined, and we were circling like above the earth, waves of love and light and energy.
Yeah, that's what I felt too. Yeah, that was awesome. I felt a little bit of nervousness on your part. Are you a little nervous?
Yes.
Yeah, I felt that. I mean, it wasn't bad. I just felt a little bit, but I thought, oh, she'll be okay.
It's not you. It's my karmic lifetime. I want to open and feel safe with my heart chakra.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And that's another reason why I'm searching for answers. Um, this was a suffering life for me.
Yeah.
And I've done a lot. I've done a lot of healing.
Right.
There's the residual.
Yeah,
and that's where that nervousness is coming from.
Yeah, and I think maybe some of the nervousness is also coming from maybe being vulnerable. You know, just being being vulnerable as actually coming out as a reptilian. That takes a lot of guts, you know what I'm saying? So because, you know, people have such, and I'm not one of those people that think all reptilians are bad. I mean, I've seen enough good ones to know that they're just as varied as humans or any other star race out there. You know, you have your good factions, and then you have your not so good factions, you know, just like you do. And even the Pleiadians are not all good either, you know what I'm saying? So, I'm checking into your records right now. Yeah, you do have quite a different path than, you know, most of my clients. Most of them have incarnations in some star system, and then maybe they'll have incarnations in other star systems, or they might have incarnations in one, and then they choose to volunteer for Earth, you know, the Earth Project. With you, I'm just seeing it's a little more complex than that. Okay, so this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing initially as a soul. And this is interesting that I'm getting more and more of the alternate star races starting to connect with me to get information, which tells me that I think people are feeling it's time to get the truth out. You know, whatever that truth is, it's time to get it out. You know, and that we're all beings of light. We're all, you know, connected, you know, regardless of where our origins, you know, whether it be, you know, what I call the seven galactic star systems, you know, or the galactic seven, or if it's from another system, okay? So so initially what I'm seeing with you is you're obviously a highly experienced soul because you're a first wave volunteer, okay? And you are starseed. It's just that your origins was not necessarily human, okay? So I think you've been sensing this about yourself for a while, and it's kind of difficult when you live in a world that has these preconceived notions or this fear of anything that's different. Okay, so yeah, so I think you've been feeling this like all your life, like I feel different, and I feel different even from other star people. You know what I'm saying? So there must be like this overwhelming sense of loneliness. Exactly. Yeah, like I can't connect even with other star people because I'm not even like them, you know. So yeah. So what I'm getting with you is that I think you had prior incarnations in Draco, okay? But there were several stars in Draco, okay? So there was actually quite a few stars in Draco. I am seeing a connection with Thuban, okay? Do you know Thuban? Yeah, Thuban, yeah. Thuban, yep. Do you know which star I'm talking about? What I'm seeing is there was a class, they had different hierarchy in the reptilian system, okay? So And some of this I'm seeing for the first time. So if I'm kind of pausing a little bit, it's because I'm trying to get more information. But
Okay.
I'm seeing that there was kind of the higher caste of beings, which were kind of the dragons. Okay.
Right.
And I think you're connected more with that group of beings. Okay. Now the dragons were not necessarily evil. Okay, I think a lot of them were very ancient beings. They were wise, and they were very interested in teaching. Okay, and they were extremely psychic. And I'm seeing that this is a skill that you have even in this lifetime. That you have the gift of sight. Okay, so. And I have that gift as well, which I think is why you and I connected so easily. So in the higher realms, but I'm seeing that. So you initially started off as a dragon, and I'm seeing you as a baby dragon. Okay, so it's kind of cute, but I'm not sure which. I'm trying to see what color you were because they had different colors that designated like different skills. Okay. And like I said, I'm seeing this for the first time, and I'm not really familiar with reptilian history, so a lot of times I just have to rely on the records. So I'm seeing that you had some sort of color. I'm seeing gold for some reason. Does that sound right?
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bluish gold.
Yeah, the bluish gold. Yeah, I'm seeing kind of mostly gold, but with tinges of blue, and it was kind of iridescent. Okay, so so this blue gold cast of dragons were more of the spiritual sect. Okay, so what I mean by that is they were kind of the healers and teachers. Okay, so they were kind of like what we would call maybe on Earth terms like the priesthood. So it's kind of similar to that. So each of these dragons had like different color points, and the color points would designate, like what their family group was and what their particular skill sets were. Okay, so I'm seeing you as this baby dragon, and you had dragon parents, and your parents weren't necessarily very hands-on. So you kind of had to learn a lot of things on your own, which was hard. Okay.
Right.
And because your parents were busy kind of doing their own thing. And I mean, I think they were around enough to feed you and to make sure that, you got your basic needs met, but they weren't exactly very affectionate, beings, so.
Right.
So you kind of had to figure a lot of things out on your own. But because of your high psychic abilities, you picked up on things very fast. It was just kind of like, things got picked up very, very quickly.
It sounds like this human lifetime is
kind of a repeat of that.
Yes.
Yeah, that happens a lot. So it's kind of like your parents kind of left you to your own devices in this life and weren't exactly very nurturing or
complicated.
Yeah. Okay.
Biological mom, abusive, went through trauma. She left at age 4. My dad, he loved us, but he married my stepmom, and yeah. So to cope, he worked 2 jobs, and so yeah, that's pretty much left. But anyway.
Yeah. I'm sorry. A lot of us had tough childhoods, I think, for various reasons. So
I think it's a refining process.
Yeah.
To take us down to our roots, our bare bones. We burn away all that trivia of human life.
Right.
If we survive it.
Right.
so that it brings out our spiritual gifts.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And also, I think it gives us the opportunity to maybe relive some old uh, karmic signatures so that we can
Right.
resolve them. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, it's kind of it sounds very similar to your dragon life. Okay, so
Yeah. Yeah.
now the dragons always had kind of this rivalry with the other reptilian factions. Okay, they had like several different castes, and they had like kind of the warrior caste that they were more of your typical reptilian looking beings. They stood upright and they had reptilian features, and they were really tall and kind of big, and not as big as the dragons though. The dragons were always kind of higher caste. Okay, so
Right.
so these beings were always in competition with the dragons because I think there was a little bit of jealousy there, like
Mm-hmm.
oh, why do they get wings, and we don't, and things are easier for the dragons and we have to work hard for everything. So it's kind of like this kind of competition.
Mm-hmm.
So the warrior caste of the reptilians were actually the ones that started the Lyran Wars. It wasn't the dragons. Okay. Now, did the dragons have some involvement with it? Yeah, they probably did, but I think the warrior caste started the wars because they thought if they can conquer as many star systems as possible, they would be able to defeat the dragons and be top dog. Okay, and
Right.
that was their ultimate goal. So I think the dragon beings felt kind of a responsibility about what happened with Lyra. So because of that, they've been kind of been mostly hands off, but there was times when they would visit Earth, for instance, and be the teachers on Earth. Okay, so that's
Mm-hmm.
why in human history you see dragon representation in many different cultures. Okay, because they actually used to visit Earth. They weren't made up. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
yeah,
Well, and we have the ability to change form.
yeah, so yeah, they were definitely shapeshifters, absolutely. Yeah. I've had encounters with reptilian shapeshifters. Yeah, it's interesting. I'm just trying to check into your history here. Yeah, I'm seeing that you, as a dragon being, you have kind of a very feminine energy to your essence. Okay, you're kind of like a feminine, more of a yin energy dragon. You're very receptive. You're very flowy. I mean, you have a sharp analytical mind. I mean, that's no question about that. But
Right.
there's a very flowy, very gentle energy about you. Okay. So I think
Mm-hmm.
you felt compassion for some of the Lyran refugees, and I'm seeing that you assisted some of them as they were trying to escape Lyra. And I think it was you and maybe a handful of other dragon beings that were kind of assisting them, even though they didn't really realize it. But and
Yeah, we had to hide out. We had to hide our true selves from them because otherwise they would. Uh,
yeah, they would
yeah.
freak out. Yeah, because they thought you were the enemy. Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
so I'm seeing that you did a lot of shape shifting even back then. So yeah, you did have to kind of hide your true identity. So I'm also seeing that after a few thousand years passed by, I think it was quite a few lifetimes, you did start to visit Earth, but dragons lived very long lives. So I don't even think it was that many lifetimes, or maybe it was even the same lifetime, because I think they lived very long time. So, time passed, and you realize that there was humans on Earth, and they were kind of ignorant, and they needed some help. And I'm seeing that you were one of the dragons that visited, and they're showing me the Great Britain area. And yeah, I think you used to visit there. So you're one of the dragons that would actually assist, some of these great wizards. This was like back in the Druid days. In the early part of Britain history. I'm all, but you were always one of the ones that had the wings. So. And I'm seeing that I think you visited other parts of the world too, but I'm just seeing that Great Britain was maybe more significant because you made connections there. But
when I've been to England, I felt at home.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
I've also been drawn to the history of China.
Okay. Because I'm seeing that you visited China too. Okay. You visited England, China, and I think South America. I think those are the three locations that you visited the most when you were visiting Earth. And so I'm not surprised to hear that England seemed very familiar, or felt like home, or I think you spent the most time in Great Britain. So yeah. But I think you did, some teaching in China, and that's why I think these cultures have great reverence for the dragons. They didn't see of them as being negative beings. Now I think later in Britain, I mean, you notice how a lot of the British crests have dragons on them. Why would they pay reverence to a being that was evil? You know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I was in Lemuria a lot too.
Yeah, no.
There's a South America connection.
Yeah, I definitely see a Lemurian connection too. Now, why would you decide to go from being dragon to human? That's an interesting question. That's like going way, way down. You know what I'm saying? So.
Well, when you talked about the Lyran refugees,
yeah,
my mind made that connection to the Jewish Holocaust.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was. Yeah, it was a lot like that.
And
yeah,
it's for not standing up to the warriors.
Yeah, I think the dragons felt a sense of responsibility. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
yeah.
Our esoteric, we kept separate because we didn't want to get into it's a complicated, like the Philosopher's Stone kind of thing. We felt like if we got involved with the warrior aspect, that it would dilute the purity of our souls and our work. But then we saw the dramatic, drastic results of our unwillingness
to get involved.
Step in.
Yeah, exactly. That's the same impressions I was getting too. Yeah.
Huh?
That was the same impressions I was getting too. It was kind of like a form of, you said penance. Yeah, it's kind of a harsh word, but maybe a sense of retribution. Making some sort of retribution towards the human race.
Reparations.
Yeah, reparations. Yeah, it's an even better word. Yeah.
Retribution doesn't, but it's a reparation.
Yeah.
And when we saw that the warrior races targeted Earth.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to try and counterweight that,
Mm-hmm.
counterbalance it. So that's why we dragons have been heavily targeted on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Because our tails, what I saw was a scale, a balance,
Mm-hmm.
and our dragon tails weighed on the side of light rather than on the side of dark. So the dark has had a harder time gaining control, and there's been a lot of revenge and retribution and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and there's always been like this ongoing kind of conflict between the dragons and the warrior caste. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's always been ongoing. The warrior caste reptilians hate the dragons. They hate them. I mean, they hate them even more than they hate humans, and they hate humans a lot too. So yeah, they think humans are stupid and weak. But the dragons, they kind of like keep them at arm's length because they know how powerful they are. But they always feel this need to, one up on the dragons. So
right.
So yeah, it's kind of an interesting, and it is very complex. I mean, I feel like we're barely like touching on the surface of what really happened, but but I do feel that the dragons were always trying to help humanity. Now I think because they were so hands off initially in the beginning, like you said, they were, I think, shocked at the devastation. It was just kind of like, it was just like shocking. Like they didn't think the warrior caste was going to go that far, but they went that far. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, oh my God.
There was we didn't provide the checks and balances.
Exactly. So I think they felt this responsibility to assist the humans when they could, and I think in kind of their own, reserved sort of way. But yeah, they were always kind of reserved, I mean, and I think that's just reptilian nature, I mean, reptilian nature is to hide, and to kind of, be off in the shadows a bit. So, and it's not necessarily a bad trait, I think it's just how they are, so.
Well, it's like an introspective kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
More introspective.
Right. Whereas your warrior caste reptilians are very aggressive, and they're very pushy and very, controlling and domineering, so they kind of represent another side to reptilian energy, so so yeah, it is an interesting and very long, complex history, and I can go on forever, but I do want to kind of move.
Yeah, let's move on to some more. I've had, I think, many Native American lives.
Yeah, and I do see that. I mean, I see a connection there with Native America. I see a connection with Lemuria. I see a connection with Great Britain. I see a connection with China. And I think you had incarnations in those places even as human. Okay, so I would say that those are probably your most significant lives that you've had, And I think you decided to incarnate as human because you felt like as a dragon being, if you can kind of go in as human, that you would have a better understanding of the human condition, okay? And you would be able to know better.
And they would be more willing to accept.
Yeah, exactly. And you would be able to know how to help them better. Yeah, exactly. So, and you knew it was going to be a multi-lifetime process, okay? Now, interestingly enough, Thuban, and I don't know if you might know this, I don't know. Thuban was the North Star on Earth for a long time.
Thuban?
Thuban, yep, yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was during like the ancient times. It was Earth's North Pole star, or and then around the time of Christ, it shifted to Polaris. Okay, so now it's still Polaris, and now and in the future it's going to shift to Vega. Okay. Now, if you look at a star map, these stars are actually located fairly close to each other. So it just means that Earth's axis, when it shifts to. But it seems like it aligns itself during the period of times when these beings are more directly involved with Earth's history. So the dragons were more involved with Earth's history in the beginning of Earth's history, like during the ancient civilizations. And but then they kind of backed off, and that was when I think it was the time of Christ, and then the North Star shifted to Polaris. Now I'm seeing that during the age of Aquarius, when we move into fourth and fifth dimension, it's going to eventually shift to Vega. And that Vega is actually one of the home of human consciousness. So we're actually kind of shifting Earth back to its original template. So it's going away from the old Orion templates and shifting more into the original human templates of Vega. And the dragons are okay with this because they know this is what has to be. That humans need to continue their own destiny without all of this manipulation and deception from these other reptilian factions. Okay, so but yes, I do see lives in all those areas we talked about. And in those lives, you are always some form of either teacher or healer. So you have a very teacher healer energy about you. And I don't know what you do for a living in this lifetime, but
guess where I've worked for the last 17 years?
What, the school system?
Elementary school.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Yep. Yep. Healer, teacher.
And
yeah,
and I can. Oh yeah, I can put my hands on somebody, and I get pictures and images, and
yeah, you're extremely psychic. I mean, I picked that up right away about you, and you're maybe even more psychic than I am, but and I'm pretty darn psychic, okay? But
how do you deal with feeling vulnerable and being open around people?
That's that self-protection mode. The dragons always felt like they had to kind of hide for a long time and hide who they are because they were hunted down. They were hunted for a long time.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the ancestral trauma that you carry in your genetics because the dragons were hunted down. And that's why you don't see them as prevalent on Earth as they used to be during ancient times. And I think that's probably another reason why you decided to incarnate as human, is to go in and be able to assist incognito, kind of underground.
Then I got involved in because of the healing, the whole witches and witchcraft, and I have a past life memory of
the Wicca involvement.
Yeah. Well, of the burning at the stake kind of thing.
Oh, gotcha.
And my stepmom in this lifetime and my dad in this lifetime betrayed me in that lifetime.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. I see you have excellent past life recall as well. I mean, I'm just kind of helping you fill in the gaps, but you already see a lot of your past lives, which is really amazing. So you're kind of making it easy for me because I'm just filling in details. Yeah.
I have a question.
Okay.
I feel like I'm being called somewhere like North or South Dakota.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
The Lakota people.
Mm.
But I don't know.
Let me check in on that.
And I don't know if that's in any records or anything.
I can check in on that.
Okay.
If it's something you're thinking about, it's in the records. Okay. So.
Okay. Cool.
I think the reason why you're getting called to that area because they're old dragon burial grounds. I think there's some sort of connection you want to make with your ancestors. And I think the Lakota people know where these places are at and can help you. At least that's what's coming through for me.
Yeah. No, it's that big sigh that's a settling in of the knowledge.
Yeah, no, I understand it. Yeah, I'm just saying that's just what's coming through for me, but I'm also seeing that you're supposed to be doing some sort of healing there. Okay, so are you thinking of moving there or just visiting?
Well, my son, who is 23, he's autistic.
Mm-hmm.
That's a consideration. But he's had dreams. He's very psychic himself. And he's remembered dragon lifetimes.
So he's obviously part of your soul family.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I just haven't been sure.
Okay.
But I felt a calling to that part of the world.
Huh. Okay.
But when you were talking about dragon burial grounds, the serpentine mounds.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the ritual.
Mm-hmm.
And they're found, I think, in Ohio, Indiana.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think I saw an Ancient Aliens episode on that. So
yeah. I need to start watching those.
Yeah, I think you'll get like hints to maybe places where you need to go to activate the energies through some of those shows, and because I'm seeing aren't there also some sort of mounds in the UK as well?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's another key place. I think you said you've already visited there, but you might consider going back there again.
Yeah, this was first time was in high school, so it was very touristy.
Yeah.
And then the second was I was part of the dance troupe in college.
Oh, gotcha. So, okay.
What kind of healing modality do you see for me?
Energetic. I would say higher level, not Reiki. Okay. So, like quantum touch. That's something you might want to look up.
Okay.
There's several different types, but there's also healing touch, and they have different names, but but I see more energetic healing rather than, but more higher level, because I think that's more in alignment with your frequency. Okay. You're a very high frequency being, even though you are quote unquote reptilian. So that tells me that you've been working on the side of the light for multiple lifetimes, so so you're not like a recent convert to the light, you know what I'm saying? You've been on the light side for a while. I think that, the downside is you always had to hide who you were, you couldn't just outright say, oh yeah, I'm a dragon, because
people would think it's weird.
Yeah.
You know what scared me? I was driving in my car and I can't remember specifically what happened. This rage just came over me, and it's like I saw reptilian teeth. Even though dragons are of the light, we still have that.
Oh no, you guys still have that dark side. Oh yeah, I mean it's still there. I mean, or that ability to feel deep anger.
Yes.
So
it was very scary to me because not at that moment. At that moment, I was like, I mean, expletives, blah, 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 yada, yada.
Mm-hmm.
And I could feel the dark energy. There was a part of me that relished that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is you there? Once I calmed down, I'm like, pull all this back, pull all this negative energy back, no, send rainbow light. But it freaked me out a little bit.
Yeah, because there's still that shadow aspect, even as being a light dragon. You're always going to be, I think, having to integrate your shadow self with your light self, and that's true of all beings. I mean, not just dragons, but
Yeah.
I found out, in some past lives I did some horrible things, and I'm
Yeah.
definitely of the light in this life, but I think we all have to kind of integrate kind of the dark aspects of ourselves, and I think maybe at that moment, for whatever reason, you were facing your shadow self, and it was scary. I mean, it's always scary when you. Yeah, it's really scary.
It's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like.
Yeah, like rip, tear, shred, masticate. Energetically speaking.
Yeah.
And yeah, so.
Well, I think, dragons and, reptilians, they have the great capacity to destroy. Okay.
Yeah.
But then there's also the flip side of them that have great capacity to restore. Okay, so that's why a lot of them end up getting into healing and teaching, because they want to help restore what they had previously destroyed. Okay, so
right.
It's kind of the flip side of their personality.
Balance.
Yeah, the balance. Yeah, exactly. So so it's the flip side of their personality. I think you seem to be a very well integrated soul. I think you've probably mastered that balance. But I think sometimes the shadow self shows itself, and because you're in human form in this lifetime, it kind of freaked you out there for a moment. But then you got your composure, and you're like, okay, I can handle this, because I've done it before, so
right.
Yeah. But I tell you what, if somebody threatened your kids or threatened somebody you love, the dragon self's going to come out. You know what I'm saying? So.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, I had we went on a field trip.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a local music festival called Merle Fest, and so we took the first graders. And coming back, I was tired. I was driving the bus.
Mm-hmm.
We took 2 buses, and had a car just turn right in front of me. Next thing I know, I'm driving he turned into the gas station, and he was getting gas. And I took the bus into the gas station area and stopped where the guy was pumping gas. And I opened the doors and I said, "You just endangered 30 of my kids here, and they're first graders, and I don't appreciate it." And I shut the door and drove off.
You're gonna tell him off because he was threatening the young people that was in your charge, and that dragons are very protective. Okay, so that's another quality that you carry, is you have a very protective energy. And that's a kitty. Hello, kitty. But yeah, I'm surprised mine isn't hanging around meowing. She's usually the one that you hear on some of my recordings, So, but yeah, you're lucky to have your girl Olivia there with you. It seems like even though you're dragon, you have a very good connection with cats, which is it must be that Lyra connection, that. Cats originated from Lyra. I don't know if you know that, but
no, I didn't know.
Yeah. So it must be that connection with Lyra. It's like I think you loved the Lyran people, even though, and I think you were horrified, and that's why you were trying to help them in that original life. You were trying to. But
well, I would sneak away.
Uh-huh.
And the Lyran people, there was a sect that loved dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Sect was hardest hit by the warriors. But that's another reason why a lot of dragons can't have come to Earth.
Yeah.
Because the reptilians, they're part of the elite.
Exactly.
And
yeah. Yeah, the time of the dragons was during the earlier times of Earth, during the ancient civilization times. And then when the Illuminati and the Dark Cabal took over, the dragons had to leave. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So
well, we had to go underground.
Yeah, you had to go underground. Yeah, exactly. Or or incarnate, incognito as human, or do some sort of shape shifting. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think you were always trying to help, but you did have to do it in a different kind of way. Rather than the way you did it in the past. So, but it's interesting in all these different cultures you see dragon. You don't ever see, I mean, you see some reptilian, but it's mostly dragon, I mean, it's always like, even in South American culture, you see the dragon, in China, you see the dragon, in England, you see the dragon, you know what I'm saying? So,
what do you see as protection stones that I need for protection?
Oh, like crystals? I would say obsidian's a good one for you. And it's shungite. Shungite. That's another good one for you. It's kind of hard to find, but it's a good one. Shungite. Hematite isn't bad either. That's more of a grounding though. I don't know if you need that. But as far as protection, yeah, obsidian would be very good. Shungite and hanksite. Hanksite's another one. It's not a very beautiful stone, but it's powerful. It's Hankite, Hanksite, or Ksite. So those would be the ones I think would be very good for your particular energy. Hanksite actually takes negative energy and transforms it into positive.
So that's good to know.
Yeah, it's a very powerful crystal. So I think another one you might want to consider is Nirvana quartz. I think that's very high vibrational stone. Again, not very easy to find, but it's kind of like has a pinkish. It looks like quartz, but has kind of a pinkish tone to it. So, so I think that one will be good for you as well.
Okay.
Okay, so you have a few to choose from.
Oh, soulmate. That would be a useful question.
Okay, so a partner, I take it. So, let me check in on that. So you've been single for a long time, or just recently?
Oh yeah.
For a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'll be 53. Back in college, I don't know what twin flames are. I think I have an idea.
Okay.
But I was drawn to him, and he was drawn to me. It didn't work out. But he's the only one I've ever dreamt about.
Is he?
But
have you been in contact with him, or do you know where he's at, or?
Oh, I do. He's married and whatnot, and he had contacted me, and when I spoke truth about the situation, he cut me off. So, my son's co-creator of my son, he died when Michael was 2.5. So there just seemed to be a similar pattern of not supportive.
Gotcha. Okay.
Kept attracting, and so I just cut it all off. But in the last year or so, I don't know. I guess I feel like I'm ready to maybe open myself up again. But I just don't want to go through
another dysfunctional relationship that you had to cut yourself off from. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And having to kiss a lot of frogs before you.
So you want to meet
the right one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think you can manifest that, but I just started visualizing the kind of partner I wanted, and I know it sounds very like woo woo and very,
No, it makes sense.
yeah, I mean
It
law of
makes sense.
attraction, but I just
I've
I
gotten it wrong before.
yeah. So I think if you think about what it is that you want in a partner, and I don't know if it's this individual that you had this connection with in the past or if it's somebody new, but I believe that you'll be able to manifest that in your life, and you don't have to go through kissing all the freaking frogs, okay? So, because dragons don't kiss frogs, okay? Dragons connect with
Yeah.
other dragons, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's time for a new reality for you. And, it sounds like you've done a lot of the inner work to kind of process why it is that you were attracting like all these really dysfunctional men in the past, so.
Right.
So I think, now is like you're just like, okay, I kind of went in hiding and I licked my wounds and I've done it so long and now I'm ready to go back out there. I'm doing things differently, So,
Right.
yeah, what I did was I visualized every single night what my new relationship was going to look like and what my partner was going to be like and the things that we're doing and all that other crazy stuff and it actually came true. I mean, within I think 3 or 4 weeks, I met my current significant other, and we've been together ever since. Now we've had some ups and downs, but we've been together,
Right.
So I don't know. I have a feeling you might. I have a feeling this man might be Native American for some reason. Or I'm seeing that in the records, but he's somebody that's going to understand your dragon energy and be able to honor it
Except,
instead of being afraid
yeah.
of it. So I think this is somebody that's going to be really good for you. I don't know if he's dragon himself. He's definitely going to have some sort of star lineage. I think if he's not dragon, he's probably going to be of maybe Lyran lineage. Okay, so yeah, it'll be an interesting mix. Yeah, but it'll be good. It'll be very healing. It'll be very beautiful too.
Is my memory of Atlantis correct? I felt like I'd lost my son when Atlantis fell.
Let me check in on
You
that.
know.
Yes, I think you and your son were trying to escape, trying to see what happened here.
I felt
Okay.
like I had lost him, that I wasn't able to save him
Yeah, I
in
think
that lifetime.
Yeah, I think what happened was that you both were trying to get on a rescue boat of some sort. I think there was only room for one more person. Your son said, "Okay, I'm going to go on there with you," but then he helped you onto the boat, but then pushed it away. You were devastated because you thought he was
Yeah.
going to go on the boat with you, okay? But he did it because you were his mother and he thought that you should be saved and that he was going to take his chances and he didn't make it unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it was devastating and I think you've never really forgotten it. So I think even in this lifetime you have this contract to because he said, he sacrificed his life for you. I think in this lifetime, you feel that you could sacrifice your life for him anytime, and you'd be willing to do that.
Yeah. He still has that I gotta protect my mom
Yeah,
mentality.
yeah, yeah. He was always looking out for you. You have this soul contract that originated from Draco. Okay, so you've known each other for a long time, and it'll be ongoing even in the future. I can check into some future probabilities for you. I actually see you taking on the role of teacher, but are you retired now or going to be retiring? Or I'm seeing that once you retire from the school system, I think you'll be teaching, but you'll be teaching children more spiritual concepts, which I think something that you're going to just really love to do. And
Right.
And I think you're going to want to work with the children because that's where you can make the most impact while they're still young. So I see you working more, and like I said, you have this very motherly, protective, dragon, gentle energy.
Right.
So I think you're very good with working with children. Yeah.
What's interesting is the autistic kids that are in the class.
Mm-hmm.
We speak to each other clairvoyantly.
Mm-hmm. That was because a lot of those autistic children were reincarnations of beings that incarnated in Atlantis, and I think that's why you feel this connection with them, and you feel this obligation to help them. And a lot of them were amphibian beings, from Atlantis, so that's why when they incarnated in human form in this lifetime, their soul genetics wasn't a good match for their human genetics, so that's why they developed autism. A lot of autistic children seem to be very drawn to water.
Yeah.
They all love to swim for some reason. I think it's because that's what they used to do, in their original life. I think you feel this very strong connection with them because even though they're not dragon beings, they're more related to you than humans. Okay, so yeah, so you feel this need to help them.
What I got when you and I were talking was they're the reincarnated souls of the dolphins and the whales.
That's exactly true. Yep, you're right on target.
So they're higher level beings.
Yeah, they are. And that's why they don't process or communicate in quite the same way as rest of humans do because they process things on a higher level. And it's sad that we think of them as being like handicapped, but when it's actually the humans, the regular humans that are handicapped, you know what I'm saying? So because they're so disconnected from source, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it's kind of sad, but yeah, I see you doing a lot of work with autistic children especially, and I think you're currently doing work with them. So yeah, you came here with a big role. You came to make, I think, to plant seeds in the children and also be able to help heal the people around you. And like I said, I think you feel this obligation towards assisting the human race because of what happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's actually a beautiful thing you came to do, and it's a big sacrifice. I know it's a big sacrifice. So
we actually snuck the Lyrans that were left. We snuck them here.
Yeah.
And we brought them here.
Yeah. Yeah, because you knew they needed a new place to go, and Earth was far enough away. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's been great talking to you.
It was such a joy getting to know you, and it was a very interesting reading, so thank you very much, and I wish you a lot of love and success on everything you do now and in the future.
Thank you. I appreciate your support, your gifts.
Thank you.